Hello, everyone. Please keep supporting Gene Valentino's Truth Podcast. We need our voice to get out there far and wide and help save our country. It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
But today, live in the studio, Escambia County's very own Gene Valentino. Welcome to the Wake Up Call, Gene.
Glad to be with you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Like me, you served 8 years as a county commissioner. You know about how much fun that is. But what made you decide to jump in this race, Gene?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. Jeff, I didn't need the job. As you know, I wanted the job. It was literally a calling to step back into the fray. I've been a resident in this community for over 35 years. I've been a successful businessman long before I became county commissioner with you. Mm-hmm. And frankly, I want to give back to the community. And that was the calling. I see a lot of things. One thing I know for sure, Donald Trump needs his backside protected.
Yes.
And with the absence of Matt Gaetz, who fell on the sword for Donald Trump, I plan on doing the same. The difference between me and Matt Gaetz might be that I know when to use the feather and I know when to use the chainsaw.
Well, you got to, man, I'll tell you what, sometimes you got to put the hand in the velvet glove, but it's got to be iron. It's got to be an iron
correct.
fist. So let me ask you something, Gene. Let's just wave a magic wand and say, Gene Valentino, you won. What will be your first 3 priorities in Washington, D.C., if you win?
Well, let me split it into 2 parts. On the national level, I'm a total supporter of Donald Trump. I support the MAGA agenda. The securing of the border comes first. I was on the phone with a friend of mine called Tom Homan, who's been a guest on my Grassroots Truthcast podcasts. And Tom said to me directly, Gene, we're not waiting to the inauguration on the 20th. We're going after boots on the ground right now, he said. I said, I couldn't be happier. He said, he even reached out to me and said, listen, you got any former ICE employees or Border Patrol type folks who are demoralized and feeling bad about the last 4 years? Have them get to me. I want to bring them back into the fray. Right on.
Well, so on the local level, what would be your 3 top priorities?
Well, just on the national level, I don't want to make light of the fact that the wall comes first.
Yes.
Mass deportations and criminal actions of import against those illegals that have been bringing the fentanyl and killing our American citizens, raping our ladies and taking advantage of our children in this immigration of all the children we can't get our hands on. Known right now on the national level, Jeff, is over 300,000 known terrorists that are in your backyard and mine, and we can't find them. That's number 1. On the local level, we got a major crisis created by Jimmy Patronis. It's one of the reasons I got in the race.
Okay.
He, as CFO, is head of the financial aspects of the state, including the insurance. The insurance crisis in this state rests solely in his lap. He has received over $2 million of funding from insurance lobbyists for his campaign, and he has turned around and promoted and supported legislation that denies your right and mine to sue the insurance companies when they fail, to go settle the claim with you in a timely manner or deny the claim completely. This insurance crisis is something I know about. Before I came to town 35 years ago, Jeff, I used to teach the insurance licensing course.
Oh, okay.
I brought the rookies in through the insurance department that wanted to be licensed agents in the state of Connecticut. I know insurance cold. I have an insurance solution, not only for the state of Florida, but for the nation. It will be through the repeal, the revocation, or revision of the McCarran-Ferguson Act going back to the 60s.
Okay.
There is a solution to this insurance crisis, and you're talking to the guy who's going to deliver it, Gene Valentino for United States Congress.
Well, Gene, that is an issue, and it's a very, very important issue at the state. I've had Michelle Salzman on. I've had Don Gates on. That was a centerpiece of his platform in his successful bid for the state Senate. So I know that's a big issue, but I want to now get to I know that's a huge issue here locally. I know it. Going door to door in the last.
Through all 50 states, Jeff.
Yeah.
The state can only go so far. Federal intervention is now needed to solve the insurance crisis.
Whatever we could do, because I know this here in Florida, we're paying the highest, more than California, more than the Midwest with the tornadoes. But I want to talk about how we cut spending, Gene. I mean, I've asked every candidate that's come on the wake up call this question. How do we cut spending in DC in order to balance our budget and pay off our $37 trillion national debt? How do we do it?
Just yesterday on Fox News, from his lips to God's ears, Ron Johnson said, let's take the spending back to 2019. If we go back to the spending level of 2019, based on the current revenue projections, we will have a balanced budget. For the first time in history in about 19 years, going back to Clinton, we have not had a balanced budget. I don't care if it was Democrat or Republican. We need a balanced budget. The citizens deserve a balanced budget. You don't spend money you don't have. And just this last year, how many billions of dollars into Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
That didn't come through Congress, Jeff.
No, I know.
That was a unilateral effort by President Biden, and it's destroyed our budget process.
Yeah, it really has. Well, we haven't had a budget process in a long time. Everything's done by continuing resolution, omnibus bills packed with a bunch of pork. And this is both parts. I mean, look, I'm a Republican my whole life, Gene. Since I turned 18, Ronald Reagan was the president. I'm a Republican, but I'm not a Kool-Aid chugging dummy Republican. When Republicans are just as addicted to spending as Democrats, they're just not quite as bad. And at least they're honest about it. But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. And it sounds good, but we've got $1 trillion a year for defense, very close to that in the last NDAA. We've got $1 trillion just on the debt service on the national debt. And then you've got 1.4 for Medicare and Social Security. So you've got very little wiggle room on all the discretionary stuff. So we're spending about $6 trillion a year. You know this, Gene, but we're only taking in 4 to 4.2. So how do we really balance it without cutting someone's rice bowl?
Yeah. Well, like I said, take it back to 2019. There will be some cutbacks.
But how much did we spend in 2019? We spent over $5 trillion in 2019.
Offset against the current projections on revenue.
Okay.
We will be at a break even.
Okay.
And that's where I come up with House budget. In fact, that's one of the committees I want to get on is budget and finance, because I know this area well. You don't spend money you don't have. That's the bottom line.
No, I agree with you 100%. Now, that leads me to kind of, this is my show, so I can ask these questions. But look, I'm 56 years old, Gene. Look, I worked hard my whole life, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I started when I was 14 years old at the commissary in Yokohama, Yokosuka, Japan, $2.40 an hour. Worked my whole life. Now I'm coming up on an age within 10 years, I'm going to want my Social Security. And as I like to tell Jim, I'm not waiting until 67 or full retirement. At 62, I'm going to get my check. So how do you save Social Security, Gene, for someone like me who's counting on it? And I don't want to be told, well, we're going to convert it to an IRA or personal. How do you save it? Because it's really bankrupt. It's a Ponzi scheme right now.
Well, more of the Ponzi scheme money.
What? Yeah. Was that a Freudian slip?
Yeah, well, it was, but truthful. You hit the nail on the head. That's why I said it. The fact of the matter is Social Security has been raided.
Yes.
And if you just stop rating it, then the actual actuarial data shows you will have the accrual, what's the unpaid liabilities that are forthcoming. Whenever you decide to take Social Security, that money's got to be there. That's the unpaid liability today that we got to put away as a nest egg. We didn't raid that Social Security account. The Democrats did.
Right.
$200 billion into Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out where that money went. We didn't even talk about the vets, but one of the programs locally, Jeff, is I've just received 26 different supporters who've joined Gene Valentino's Veterans Coalition.
Oh.
These are people who are on board with me with the different armed services of this panhandle, not just Escambia. And the armed services folks from these different divisions of our military have stepped up and said they're supporting me because I'm putting a plan in place to pick up where Jeff Miller and I left off before you came on as commissioner. And when I was commissioner, Jeff Miller came to me as congressman, and that was the start. I think it was 2012 or so for the VA clinic up on 98.
Yes.
The VA clinic needs to be, that clinic's there because of me and Jeff Miller. And we got hot with the federal government because it was a half measure.
Yes.
It was a half loaf.
Right.
They did some medical clinic and outpatient service. We need a full 24/7 urgent care, emergency room, hospital beds. Now, you want to merge it with the other military establishments in the area for efficiency? Sure, that's part of DOGE. I'm on board with it. But if you're going to tell me that those veterans have to wait 6 months to see a doctor,
That's unacceptable.
and might commit suicide before they even come through the door, then that's over the top for me. We're going to fix that. The veterans are high on my priority list. In fact, Jesus, DJ's his nickname, DJ Rivera met with me a few days ago in Santa Rosa County. We were at the Republican Club. At the Republican Club, we heard his story. Did you know DJ Rivera was in solitary confinement as part of the January 6th people just a few years ago? And he told his story like a man. And that man was beaten and brutalized, and he was a patriot.
Yeah, Gene, I think on day one, Trump needs to pardon all the nonviolent people that have been wrongly prosecuted. I want to get to that in a minute, but
Can I take it a step further?
Yeah.
If I
briefly.
may, not only pardon them, I want action when I'm in Congress to go after the wrongdoers who put them in jail in the first place.
I'm with you 100%.
We need a constitutional amendment that creates a criminal felony for anyone who steps out of line and uses their weight and force of office to take political advantage of their political opponents.
Well, there's been a lot of that.
No place in government for that.
Amen to that, Gene. And you and I both know there's been a lot of that over the last 4 years as our puppet president has been strung along and like a marionette led around. But I want to talk just briefly about Ukraine. So I'm hearing from you that spigot gets shut off. No more billions to Ukraine, right?
No more billions to Ukraine that you can't account for. It's got to be part of a national policy that makes sense in how we help any of our neighbors. But full time out.
Yeah.
We got a crisis here in the United States.
Yes.
Before we pee away money to all these different countries and allies, some of whom don't even appreciate us anymore.
Yeah, and they don't pay their share.
And they're not paying their share at the UN.
Right.
I want Americans taken care of first, period.
No, that's great. Yeah, I think, Gene, you know about the Triumph Gulf Coast, 1.5 billion, and it's been transformational for the counties of the Panhandle. Now, you look at 100 billion. I've heard different estimates between 70 and 150 that we spend in Ukraine. Imagine a Triumph Gulf Coast type fund using that money around the country. What could we have done? The jobs we could have created, the infrastructure. It's just, it's a waste of money. It's not our fight, and we need to stop. And I'm glad to hear you're going to turn off the spigot. Now, but we're running short on time. The clock is my enemy, Jim. That's my saying here on the wake up call. President Trump has voiced his support for deporting millions of illegal aliens. I am assuming you support that.
Every part of the MAGA agenda I support unequivocally, including the mass deportation. I do have a compassionate side of me for that 2-year-old and 3-year-old who came over the line that might fall into a special provision where we take care of those who really were victims coming over the line and not part of a fraud. I'll tell you the opposite extreme, and I know Tom Homan's on it. We got to go after, I'd rather not even say on the air what we need to do, but
Just don't cuss.
we just need to go after those 300,000 illegal terrorists
Absolutely,
that are in
100%.
your neighborhood and mine. We need to get them out. When's the next New Orleans event going to resurface?
Exactly. Well, the Posse Comitatus Act, it precludes the use of U.S. military troops in the country. But I liked President Trump's definition of that. He said, look, it's been an invasion, and it has been at the border. They've opened the gates, and we have been invaded. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. But I love the idea of the wall. I think we should, the thing that kills me, Gene, I know this is going to drive you nuts too. The Biden administration right now, they're selling very expensive materials that were going to be used for the wall, pennies on the dollar. How have they been allowed to do that, Gene? How have they been allowed to do that?
There is executive order that gives the president certain unilateral authority to do things. It's a blessing and a curse. It was a blessing when Donald Trump used it to get the wall built. It's a curse when Joe Biden took it down. Right. So we've got that is an issue. However, Congress, which is what my role is going to be, is to step up and make sure good policies have clear pathways to success. Bad policies need to be admonished and put by the wayside. We need to get behind Donald Trump because there was a clear mandate from this nation.
Yes.
Anyone impugning that is a perpetrator of another fraud. They have been doing it under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And that's why I signed a pledge for term limits.
I like it.
I will run only 3 terms if I'm allowed to return. And I will stand by that. The same thing applies. We need to really clean house. It's not only the elected official, it's 3 or 4 layers of staff under them.
Oh God, yeah, the deep state. I wish we had time to talk about that, Gene, but we are running down on time. This is Gene Valentino. This has been a great interview, Gene. Tell the listeners, how can they plug into your campaign? How can they learn about you? What's your website? You got 20 seconds.
Okay, thank you. ValentinoForCongress.com. Valentino, F-O-R, Congress.com. Or my phone. I put it right out there, 850-384-2055. Get on board with our team. This is an unprecedented election. I look forward to being your congressman. Lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way.
I like it. Gene Valentino, thank you for joining us live in the studio. This is WPNN, the Wake Up Call.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.